All right.
All right, welcome back, LT.
Hey, glad to be back.
Good to see you, my friend.
All right, it's a pleasure.
We got a big problem here.
Huge problem.
Yeah, and I'm at the post office, which who goes to the post office anymore? But I was actually at the post office and I picked up this flyer because I saw it on the front. It says, now it's our turn to protect our veterans from scams. And I thought, well, okay, so if we need to protect veterans from scams, yeah, that makes sense, but
Sure.
How big of a deal is this really? So I'm waiting in the post office. I open it up. Let's check it out. This is according to AARP. 78% of our retired military men and women have been targeted by scams specifically crafted to exploit their military service history. And sadly, veterans are twice as likely to actually fall for fraudulent schemes. In 2017, AARP research found that 16% of veterans have lost money to scammers. 16% have actually lost money to scammers compared to only 8% of the rest of the public. So not only are people in the military and veterans of the military being targeted by these scams, but unfortunately they're falling for it at a much higher rate, which means, of course, the scammers are going to continue to keep coming. So this has become a really, really big issue, LT, and I wanted to bring you on today. I want us to, because your organization, Military Mutual, you guys really try to be the other side of this coin.
Absolutely.
Try to be there to help, provide support, resources, opportunities for people who are veterans and in the military. And then you have this huge headwind of scammers out there.
True. And, for me, it really is disheartening and outright sickening for what they're doing. Being with Military Mutual, our company is founded on the sole principle of giving back to military veterans and their families. And anyone within our company is not in anything to have their own personal gain from it. It's really to help the veteran first and foremost. And when you brought this up to me, because this is something that you and I had talked about before the show, and we both agreed that this would be a great segment to speak on, I started doing more and more research. And what I found is there's a lot of research on this going on, but there's not a lot of action going on. And what I boil it down to is the same thing that, in the military, why people don't know about the programs that are available is the awareness factor. The research is being done, all these different things are being put in place, but if no one knows about it, they can't take action on it. So hopefully today, with what we have and what this 48-page report from AARP provides, is hopefully going to provide some veterans with some information that will help them deflect the targeting that is now taking place, and that we can now, as a unified group, take action against these scammers. And what they're typically called is pension poachers, is what it's now phrased at. Because military veterans are now getting out. They have opportunities for pensions if they were disabled. If they've retired like myself, they have a steady flow of income. But quite frankly, that's their only income in most situations that they ultimately have. And these pension poachers are basically looking at how they can get as much of that pension on their side of the table than on the veteran side of the table. And there's all kinds of different scams that we're going to talk about today. But I am so glad that you brought that up to me, because it's like I opened up a can of worms. And so now I find myself, I want to be at the forefront. I've contacted people at Navy Region Southwest. We'll have some flyers that are going on from the Attorney General, who's behind this now, and some resources that people can have.
I think that there needs to be a very stiff penalty for this,
Sure.
Beyond the normal criminal penalties that are ways for people who perform scams. I think scams that target veterans and the elderly, which are the number one and number two targeted individuals for scams, financial scams, are the elderly and veterans. And there should be a very stiff and extra penalty, in my opinion, regarding these types of scams. So the nice thing just about the brochure that I found, and you can pick this up at the post office from AARP. It's right there. The nice thing is it does provide you with a cost-free way to be able to send, hey, I'm reporting a scam.
Sure.
I've experienced this. Maybe I'm a veteran, or I need something checked out. There's an 800 number. There's a website link. We have information for the California Attorney General's office, which we'll post and make available here. There is so much more of this going on, and the same thing for me. This was my impetus, and when I started doing research, I couldn't believe the complexity. I mean, it's almost like cartel-style, multi-layered, insanely huge scams that are taking place. And what I mean is they rope you in with a small little thing here, and they say, oh, hey, we want to give you $100 for because of this benefit and blah, blah, blah. Oh, really? I can get $100? Yeah, all we need is your information. Answer a few more questions, and they walk people through, and they take you from step to step to step, and each one is a slightly bigger scam than the one before.
Absolutely.
And they rope people in, and essentially what they do is they prey on the trust that they are given by the veteran.
Absolutely.
That's what's so gross about it.
Well, and so, there's studies that go on with being in the military, we serve for a greater purpose than ourselves. And so it's now known that people are looking at how they can help other people. So veterans are more likely, and I think on the study it showed that one of the biggest scams that are out there that are veteran specifically targeted is donating money to support your fellow veterans. And 62% of veterans are targeted for that specific, actually 78% are targeted, 62% have actually been involved with that where they've donated money. And there's some serious numbers that are there. But what they're doing is they're taking advantage of the person who wants to give to others when they don't even have enough for themselves. And when we talk about the elderly and we talk about veterans and we talk about elderly veterans, those are the people who can be taken advantage of. And especially if you start looking at the mental illnesses that a lot of our veterans come across and have at their time in their life, it's really disheartening. There's a lot of great organizations that are out there, and that's one thing that I really want to highlight. There's, the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans Society. There's, the VA in itself. There's the American Legion. There's all these, the VFW, Veteran Foreign Wars Association, all these organizations that are there that can help for free to help people in these situations. But what they're looking at is they're trying to, and when I say they, these scammers that are coming from overseas or, putting things here even domestically, because it ultimately is domestic fraud is what they're committing. And that higher penalty needs to be in place because what they're doing is the people that are here in the United States understand that veterans are under this profile of wanting to help others. And they're more likely to have family problems, they're more likely to have debt problems, they're more likely to have health problems. And what they're looking for is, well, maybe if I help someone else out, it'll help me. Or if you can help me, this will help my family out. Or if you can help me, this will help my finances out, that'll ultimately help my family out. So what they do is they do the bait and switch. They'll say, well, hey, we can provide you with assets that can help you improve your VA disability benefit. Or we can give you a large lump sum. This is the one that really got me. We can give you a large lump sum now if you turn over your future disability wages. And if you have a disability paycheck of, let's say, $2,000 a month, that's supposed to be coming in for the rest of your life, and if you're planning on living for 40 more years, and let's say you're only 40 years old and you plan on living till 80, and they offer you $100,000, that is a bad deal. Really that is a very bad deal. And quite frankly, it's illegal for what they're doing. And if someone ever has gotten into that situation, I highly encourage you to contact the Attorney General's office and they can help you get out of that situation.
Yeah, we'll post that information below in the comments so that you can have access to where AARP suggests you call, whether you can call the Attorney General. We have to start reporting these things, and we have to make sure that these things don't last any longer than they absolutely need to, because what happens, unfortunately, is that a lot of times they don't even realize they've been scammed.
Sure.
And then once they do, they don't really know how to report it, where to report it, who to tell it to, and it's just not fair. So real quick, Tony Gomes, what's up, buddy? He says, this is a major issue in our heavily populated military community. It's good to see some action taking place. And I think that's kind of what you were saying, LT, is there's been a lot of research, there's a lot of data. We can see it now. Now what do we do? Okay, there's phone numbers to call, there's websites to go to. Everyone agrees this is BS.
Yeah.
But what's going to have to happen is we have to talk about it.
Yes.
We have to talk about it. Please share this video. Please, please, please share this video. I didn't realize that it was this bad of a deal. I had no idea that 78% of veterans have been targeted like this and specifically exploited for their military service. 16% of veterans have lost money to scams.
Jeez, yeah.
16%.
It's horrible.
That's more than 1 in 7. That's not okay.
Yeah.
So we have to share this video. We have to let people know where these resources are. The AARP is there. The California Attorney General's office is there. The VA itself is there.
Yep.
But we have to start talking about it. We have to circulate these things quickly. We need it to happen in numbers so that the information's out there and we can hit these things at a head.
Yeah.
When these scams are going on, it's all very little silos. You know, they're contacting you, and that pension thing,
Yeah.
the disability
That's huge.
scheme, I'm sure they came after you at some point. You must have been solicited.
So that's what they
when
talk
you
about
retired.
also in the report is that, you know, it comes in various different ways. And some of the reports talk about how they would get a phone call that would come in and you would respond. I've gotten many phone calls. Would you like to give back to this? And it's not a major organization. It's like the Veterans Society of San Diego's Undesired, you know, and you're like, hold on, that just doesn't make sense there. And fortunately enough, I do my own philanthropic way of giving back through Military Mutual.
You have your own initiative.
Exactly.
501c3.
So maybe if I didn't have that, I probably would have talked to that guy a little bit longer and given my money away and so forth. And then you also get the email scams that are constantly coming in, and it's just growing more and more. Now, Tony Gomes here, and I definitely have to speak about Tony. Tony actually works for Navy Region Southwest in the Fleet and Family Service Center. He's an educator. He is at the forefront helping people on the awareness of different things like household goods moves and, you know, fraternization and basically abuse and all these things. And so I know that he's already pushing this out to the military. And, you know, I'd love to talk to you, Tony, at a later date to, you know, even get this out a little further. I was talking with Master Chief Gooseby, and he was able to help me with a lot of this information that we're here before you today. But really what it is just getting all the people who are not only decision makers, but people who are out there educating the fleet and educating our servicemen and women and advising them that, hey, we can't trust everyone that comes across, especially if they're saying, oh, I'm a veteran too, or we're trying to help veterans. Because you know what, quite frankly, a lot of them, if they have to call you up or if they have to email you and they don't know how to get to you through your professional organizations, it's more than likely not real.
Yeah.
You know, or credible, to say the least.
Yeah, you should be able to, you know, there should be a physical location,
Sure.
you know, and you should definitely be able to vet the heck out of somebody.
Yeah.
They say they're a nonprofit. There should be a registered
website.
501c3.
But anybody could throw a website too and stuff. But
yeah, that's what I mean. There
you're
should
right.
be an actual registration. There should be, you know, if you look at Charity Watch, for example, you can find all, you know, registered charities there.
Sure.
So there's ways for you to do a little more research, you know, and sort of protect yourselves. But I think the problem is, and this is what I noticed because I personally didn't feel this way. When I saw it, I was like, scams. I'm sure there's some scams.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
Yeah.
And I look at it and
Wow.
eye-popping.
It's sad.
I mean, cartoonize, like, what? You have to be kidding me. So I think the biggest problem is we don't realize how prevalent it is.
Sure.
So even if you encounter a weird situation, if you don't realize it's a prevalent thing, you might just think, oh, well, this probably isn't that 1 in a million,
Yeah.
you know, scam situation. It's probably okay. I trust the guy.
Sure. Sure.
But if you know, hey, this is prevalent, like this is happening left and right. Okay, maybe I need to take an extra step and ask my buddy, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah. And if the big thing is, if you find yourself, and it's embarrassing to let people know that I've been taken advantage of, because you may feel as if I should have known better, or how could I let this happen to me? You don't have to stick with it. There are resources to help you to get out of those scams. I remember years ago when I first joined the military back in 1989, and I remember getting out of boot camp. It was early 1990, and you go right outside the base, and you'd see all this military-friendly stuff. And I can't stand the word military-friendly, because all that really means is, you know what, we'll take your money too, is what it is. Not badly, but it's just one of those things that really gets under my skin. We are the only organization that I know of in our industry that is all in to help the military. It's not, hey, we'll help you, you know, we can help you in this way. And there's some great people, some great realtors, some great mortgage lenders that are out there that help veterans that do well. But we're the only ones that are all in to help the military veteran, their family members, and everyone within our organization is committed to doing so. So, you know, with that being said, if you found yourself in a situation where you've been taken advantage of, you know, don't take too much pride to go call the Attorney General's office, look at the resources, call us up. I will help you specifically. You can reach out to me anytime. My number is 619-254-1496. Give me a call, and I will direct you to the right resources to make sure that you're taken advantage care of. So with that being said, you know, Derek, thank you so much for bringing this up. I mean, it is something that's really, really prevalent that's going on, and I didn't realize how prevalent it was.
It's crazy. Absolutely insane. And to the extent that the AARP went and made this 48-page report.
48 pages. And
that's how much data is coming in on this stuff.
Exactly.
And the numbers are off the charts. I mean, we're not talking about, you know, small numbers here. I mean, even just the percentage of veterans who have lost money to scams, of all veterans, 16%. So we're in double digits with the widest possible piece of this thing. When you start drilling it down, we said earlier, 68%, 78%. I mean, the numbers are just humongous. So we really need your help. Please share this video, make people aware of it, research it yourself. We're going to post some links and a few different resources down in the comments. Check those out, share those as well if you like. And I was just wondering, LT, in the 89, 90 days, is that back in the flat top days?
Yeah, I have the flat top. You know what? We ought to post one of those with some B-roll over this and stuff. Actually, I didn't have the flat top. I had the ramp that went up.
You had the ramp?
Pretty good. Yeah. I had the ramp.
Was it the side ramp or the?
No, the forward ramp.
Forward ramp.
It
Okay.
went up. Come on now, the side ramp. No, it didn't work.
The side ramp was cool.
Exactly. It was cool. It just wasn't my style.
Wasn't your thing.
It wasn't
Okay.
my style.
I got
for
you.
sure.
You like the balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You got to keep it balanced, right? I'm always leaning forward, so that's what it is, not sideways.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so tons of resources we're going to be posting on this.
Sure.
You can contact Military Mutual, who's going to be tagged in this post as well. If you have questions, if you're a veteran, if you're looking for resources, if you need support with anything that you're trying to do, whether it's a relocation, a transition, a homelessness issue, anything that you need, Military Mutual is there for you. Derek, really appreciate your time.
It's my honor,
It's great to see you, my
100%.
friend.
Thank you
Amazing
very
stuff.
much.
Thank you. Please share this video.
All right.